Next, we have the Emanuel R. Freedman Scholarship to Marta Orosz from NYU, and if we're keeping count, she's the third of our 4 recipients from NYU, presented by Alex Freedman, who is Manny's daughter from Reuters. Originally from Hungary, Marta speaks 5 languages and specializes in cross-border investigations. Her business news expertise is in how tax law loopholes offer an easy way for people who are so inclined to engage in massive financial fraud.
What's the point of year-long investigations if nothing ever changes? This was the question that I got after I turned from a foreign correspondent in Germany to investigative work when I joined an investigative newsroom. And even though a lot of our stories got real and significant impact, there were so many frustrated readers who came with this actually very legitimate question: what's the point of spending so much time and so much effort if just certain things will never ever change? And this question just kept on, popping up in my head. And last year I did the biggest project so far, what I worked on, and I think I might have found the answer to this question. I set up last year a cross-border investigation with 30 European countries and 35 newsrooms on tax fraud, actually on the biggest ongoing tax fraud in Europe, which costs European taxpayers $60 billion a year. This is, just to have a comparison, this is 1/3 of the complete VAT income in Europe. So this is massive, but it's massive and it's been there for 25 years. So some editors were skeptical and told me, you know what, we've reported on this and this is not new and this story is not really changing. There's not much to do here. And I saw that there are stories here which are cross-border stories and where I'm going to need help from other colleagues. And on the day when the colleagues came from 30 countries and they all came into our offices and I was expecting them to explain what we were doing or to present what we were doing, I thought, okay, we might really have a relevance here. We might have a relevant topic. If you guys think that this is going to work and you're interested in it and you think that this is relevant, then let's go and let's do that. And there's another reason I'm not going to forget this day. It was a day where I was sitting at a table with colleagues from almost all these, from 30 countries, and there were at least 2 countries where reporters were killed recently. As you might imagine, cross-border taxation is not a sexy topic. It's very exhausting to do investigations on it, but it's obviously very rewarding because you get to do a lot of things. You get to read court documents in 5 languages. You get to have fun with Excel spreadsheets, extracting data and cleaning data and all this stuff. And you get to find out what is the safest way to communicate with sources from Dubai, or make people at tax authorities talk to you who generally are not supposed to talk to anyone. So this was a really interesting process for me, but then I realized, okay, we can do this long read and we can do this TV documentary and all these articles, but taxation is still not sexy, so maybe a lot of people are not going to read it. So we came up with the idea, and I wrote the script for an online interactive news game. So if you don't want to read, you can just, be a fraudster for a couple of minutes and find out how these loopholes work and find out how much you can rip off from European taxpayers, because this fraud is still going on. So, you can train with this news game if you want to. So getting back to the question, we did have impact with this story, and even though this is an issue, this tax fraud is an issue which seemed hopeless in the past years, it got back on the agenda of the European Commission. The German Parliament was recently discussing it, and there's one prime minister in the European Union, the Polish prime minister, who feels for some reason that it might be a good idea to form a coalition of countries to tackle VAT fraud. But throughout this process, I also realized another thing. I realized that it's not always about immediate impact, and stories need to be told again and again where, things take longer time to change, and we have to stick to these stories. So, it is exactly these stories why these reporters were killed recently. Thank you so much for this opportunity, and I hope we're all gonna work together in some kind of collaborations in the future. Thank you.